starting to wonder about Survivor Series this year because it seems like the WWE is about to pull off one of the biggest swerves of the year. How's it going, everybody? My name's Casey Cameron. Welcome back to Leg Slapper. And yes, that is right. Survivor Series is just around the corner. It is currently this Saturday as of recording. And oh man, am I pumped. We've got 2 Colossal War Games matches. We've got a match with Stephanie Vaquera and Nikki Bella, which I'm hoping is better than I think it's going to be. And we have Dominic Mysterio versus the Intercontinental Champion, John Cena. What a sentence to say in 2025. Now, if you go onto the internet, as wrestling fans tend to do, and you ask people, what do you think is going to happen for this match, John Cena's last pay-per-view match before his final match with Dom? Will Dom win the Intercontinental Championship, or will John Cena retain it in order to have the winner of the Last Time Is Now tournament become the new Intercontinental Champion? Or does John Cena just retire as the Intercontinental Champion? What happens? You'll see a lot of different opinions regardless of where you go. I think the most positive camp seems to be most people seem to want John Cena to beat Dom and retain the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I think Dom's gonna win. And not only do I think Dom's gonna win, I think it's gonna be kind of nuts. Let's just think about it. Let's think of the mid-card. Does any of the remaining people in the Time Is Now tournament really need the Intercontinental Championship? No. In fact, the 4 people that seem like the most likely final 4 for this tournament have all been mid-card champions before and don't really need a mid-card championship again. For what it looks like will be the final 4 of this tournament, it would basically just be backsliding for them to win this tournament and either lose to John Cena or just become the Intercontinental Champion after beating John Cena. Which is basically why I do think Dom is going to be winning at Survivor Series. But how? How can Dom beat John Cena? Dom has been getting spanked by John Cena in their last couple matches. Well, I think you do it in a way that literally no one will see coming. And in fact, I've seen people saying if it happens, it will ruin the show for them. And well, sorry to say, I hope the show gets ruined for those people. I say that joking. I don't want any show to be ruined for anybody, but I think if you're a wrestling fan and one thing on a show absolutely ruins the entire thing for you, I think you do need to reevaluate what you enjoy about professional wrestling and whether or not you actually do really enjoy professional wrestling. I think you should have Dominic Mysterio beat John Cena in what should be a competitive match. We only have, I believe, 4 matches right now on Survivor Series, so let's let them go. Give them a 20-minute match. Give them a 15-minute match. Why not? Let them have a fun banger. But you know who should be involved in this match for a variety of reasons? Rey Mysterio. Survivor Series is in San Diego, and Rey Mysterio does not have a match for whatever reason. And the fact that Rey Mysterio doesn't have a match in San Diego tells me that Rey Mysterio is going to be involved in the Dominic Mysterio versus John Cena match. The only question is, in what way? Now, previous WWE lore and logic would dictate that Rey Mysterio being involved would mean that he's there to help John Cena and there to be against Dominic Mysterio. And I think that would be perfectly fine. That would be fun. I would expect it. Great. Here's Rey. Perfect. Why not? But the fun wrinkle that you could have here and the fun swerve that I think WWE has as an option here that a lot of people aren't even acknowledging. And I think they're not acknowledging it because they don't want to see Rey Mysterio as a heel, but I think Rey Mysterio turns heel to help Dominic Mysterio against John Cena. Now you might be going, well, that makes no sense. Rey Mysterio's basically been a forever babyface in the WWE. So why would we turn him heel now in John Cena's last match against Dom when John and Rey can't have that match? Well, what if all of Dom's bragging is starting to make sense to Rey? Dom was a double champ. He did manage to hold those championships for a long time. Dom's out there attempting to do things his father before him never even did. And something that we need to remember is that Rey Mysterio realistically should have a very, very, very deep-seated grudge against John Cena for a little-known tournament that happened on Raw many, many, many years ago, in which Rey Mysterio was actually crowned the WWE champion, only to lose very quickly after to John Cena, making John Cena the new WWE champion once again. What if Rey has been waiting for the right moment to get his revenge? And what better moment than to make Cena do exactly what Cena said he's been wanting to do, to have the next generation step up. Now, would this get a ton of heat on Rey and Dom? Absolutely it would. Dom is stepping up, just like John Cena said. The difference is, if Dom can't hack it against Cena, Dom can't hack it against Cena. That's the point. You have to be able to step up and beat Cena. If Dom can't do that clean, well, that's a different thing. If Rey Mysterio has to get involved to be like, look, Cena, you're gonna do what you said, and I'm gonna make sure that you do it. Can you imagine? Rey Mysterio would probably immediately be the most hated guy in the WWE. And I already hear you saying, well, we don't need a legend being the most hated guy. He's not even gonna wrestle full time. And I would agree with you. Don't worry about it. I completely agree with you. I'm on board. But you know what Rey could actually do and be really useful for is being a manager to Dominic Mysterio. I think Dom could really benefit from having a legendary figure on his side, because having that figure there legitimizes Dominic Mysterio. Having a championship absolutely legitimizes him as well, but having Rey Mysterio, the perennial babyface, the guy that everybody loves, now somehow bought into the hype of Dominic Mysterio, oh my God, it would be amazing. If you ran it kind of similar to how they're running Asuka Kairi, I know we're trying to avoid repeats, but you just have the motivation be different. You can have Rey just be like, yeah, well, I think Dom's doing the right thing. Like, I want my son to be more legendary than I ever was, and maybe that was at the cost of a John Cena moment, but I don't care because that's my blood, that's the Mysterio legacy, and I'm gonna make sure that it becomes even greater than John Cena's ever was. So now you have Rey Mysterio, who can be working a full-time schedule with the WWE, minus taking all those heavy bumps, because he can be Rey's manager. He can take manager bumps. He can still compete in the ring, but having Rey accompany Dom to the ring, now they're on the same page, but they're both bad guys. Oh my God, no one would know how to react. No one would know what to do, and it would be excellent. Now, would that happen? I don't know. Maybe they just want to keep Rey babyface. Maybe they want Dom to retire Rey. I'm just talking here. This is a little bit of fantasy booking here. This is something that I think is possible. I think it's a really cool swerve that WWE could pull out of absolutely nowhere. And it's a great way to give Dom his win over Cena, get his championship back, and do it in a way that isn't clean. And I think if Dom wins this match, it has to be dirty. He has to cheat to win, not only for the sake of his character, but for the sake of John Cena's final match. As long as Dom does not win clean, Cena could still win or lose. The idea will be there in fans' mind. Okay, Dom got him, but he had to cheat to do it. Is a win or a loss still in play for Cena? That's the thing that has to be the most important thing coming out of this match. Will John Cena win or lose his final match? That has to be the conversation. That has to be. And if you want to do that, you have Rey Mysterio come in, you have him turn heel for the first time on WWE TV to join Dominic Mysterio to become these absolutely dripping with heat heels that, like, I can't even fathom what the booze would be like for them, because Dom was already being booed so loud you couldn't hear him talk on the mic. So imagine that next Monday when they come out together, preferably to Dom's music. Imagine the booze. Would people get upset about it? Probably. Those are whiny people. Let wrestling be fun. Let wrestling be dumb. The more you complain about different options for storylines, the more you say, well, this would ruin wrestling, the less likely you are to get the surprises that you so much claim you want. Anyways, that's what I think. Tell me what you think. Do you think Dom will beat John Cena for the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series? Do you think John's gonna retain and go on to maybe lose it in the last time is now tournament? Do you think he's gonna retire with the title? I wanna know what you think down below. And what do you think of this idea? Do you think someone else will be there to be the difference maker? Do you think Dom goes over? Does Cena go over? You tell me. I wanna read it. I'll talk to you in the comments. I've been Casey Cameron. This has been a great, fun video. I will see you in the next one. I can't wait. Thank you. Goodbye.